Due to the existence of the Tier 4 diesel exhaust emission system, diesel engine emissions have been dramatically reduced. We are stacking more miles on over-the-road engines, and we're putting more operating hours on agriculture equipment. Our engines have produced less emissions as time has gone by. There are more diesel vehicles in use today than there has ever been. Trucks equipped with Tier 4 diesel exhaust emission systems are used to deliver the goods you purchase daily. Without these systems installed on these vehicles, the government would ban the use of diesel engines, and you would have to kill, cook, and eat your neighbors to stay alive. We would be in a very bad situation. The Tier 4 diesel exhaust emission system is an important development in an effort to reduce emissions from diesel engines. Today I will cover 3 topics. I will talk about diesel engine operation, I will cover diesel particulate filter function, and I will cover selective catalyst reduction operation. According to Britannica, a diesel engine is an internal combustion engine in which air is compressed into a sufficient high temperature to ignite diesel fuel injected into the cylinder. Diesel engines manufactured in modern days are of a 4-stroke configuration, meaning the crankshaft must rotate a complete 720 degrees in order to complete a complete combustion process. Engines turn linear motion into rotational energy. So when you look at my diagram here, you're looking at a complete combustion cycle and not a 4-cylinder engine. Just keep that in mind. On the intake stroke, the piston slides down the cylinder and draws fresh air through an open intake valve. On the compression stroke, the piston slides back up the cylinder, creating very high compression and a lot of heat in the combustion chamber. At top dead center of the compression stroke, fuel is introduced. On the power stroke, the fuel combusts under high pressure and high temperature and pushes the piston back down the cylinder. And on the exhaust stroke, the piston slides up the cylinder, expelling particulate matter and NOx as its final product. According to the EPA, diesel engines produce emissions that consist of particulate matter, oxides of nitrogen, hydrocarbons, carbon monoxide, and others. The intention of this system is to capture particulate matter as well as reduce nitrogen monoxide, or NOx. Nitrogen monoxide is a byproduct of burnt fuel at a high pressure. This intense condition that nitrogen is exposed to strips an electron off of the nitrogen atom and turns it into a substance that is unlike the rest of the nitrogen that is abundant in Earth's atmosphere. Now let's learn how this system works to reduce these emissions. Diesel particulate filter function. According to a technical bulletin published by the EPA, diesel particulate filters work by physically trapping and removing particulate matter from the engine's exhaust. The diesel particulate filter consists of a catalyst and a wall-style filter made of ceramic. The wall-style filter is effective at catching soot, and due to the design of the filter, there is space to store the soot. This soot accumulates over time, and when there is enough accumulated, a process called regeneration takes place. According to the same bulletin published by the EPA, cleaning of ash from the diesel particulate filter is required every 6 to 12 months. Regenerations can obviously occur more depending on the duty cycle of the engine. If you're on the open highway pulling a heavy load, you are consistently creating enough heat within the diesel particulate filter to burn off the accumulated soot. If you have to actively regenerate, you have to park your vehicle in a safe spot so your engine exhaust has the freedom to get really hot and burn off all the soot. To gain extra heat, raw fuel will be injected into the exhaust stream. This fuel goes over this mesh catalyst that is made out of precious metals. This material helps oxidize the fuel and create more heat within the diesel particulate filter. Think of it like an afterburner on a fighter jet engine. It's an already hot process that gets more fuel shoved to it to make more power. In our case, it's making extra heat. All of that action is going on inside a big can on the underside of your pickup truck. We've talked about how diesel engines work as well as the emissions they produce. We went over basic operation of diesel particulate filter, and now for the third and final segment. Selective catalyst reduction. According to Diesel Technology Forum, selective catalyst reduction, or SCR, is an advanced active emissions control technology system that reduces tailpipe emissions of nitrogen oxides down to near zero levels. So after the exhaust stream has been strained of all that soot, it goes through the SCR system. And the last thing that needs to happen to this exhaust stream is to have that missing electron added back to the nitrogen atom. The SCR system is responsible for making that happen. According to Diesel Technology Forum, hot exhaust gases flow out of the engine and into the SCR system where aqueous urea, known as diesel exhaust fluid or DEF, is sprayed onto a special catalyst. The DEF sets off a chemical reaction in the exhaust and on a special catalyst that converts nitrogen oxides back into nitrogen. Just so you heard that right, owners of diesel pickups that have Tier 4 diesel exhaust emission systems have the privilege of having to buy additional fluid to maintain clean emissions. A 2.5 gallon jug of DEF costs about $20 today. DEF doesn't generally run out very fast. You can go through a few full tanks of fuel before you'll have to worry about topping off your DEF tank. Different machines use it at different rates, so if you choose to use a system like this in the future, just be aware of how much DEF is used. In conclusion, the Tier 4 diesel exhaust emission system is an important development effort to reduce emissions from diesel engines. Today, I've talked about 3 subjects. First, I covered diesel engine operation. We discussed what diesel engines produced in terms of emissions and why the Tier 4 diesel exhaust emission system is employed. Second, we went over diesel particulate filter operation. We talked about how the DPF strains the exhaust stream of particulate matter as well as the regeneration cycle to cook off the accumulated soot. And third, we went over a selective catalyst reduction system. We discussed how the SCR creates a chemical reaction and adds an electron back to the nitrogen atom and returns it back to the atmosphere as regular nitrogen. Just keep in mind that if this system didn't exist, you would have no diesel vehicles on the road. This means you would have no food on the shelf at the store. This means you would have no clothes on your back. This system is very, very important moving forward.